Hey guys, and welcome to the Working Money channel. Lord XRP here posting this, guys, and this is huge. XRP domains are finally launching this Friday. I'm looking forward to locking down some alpha. I am so excited. I didn't know this was happening. Lord.xrp is what he's looking to purchase from the XRP name service. Now, I was looking for a link here. MNTL Cookie here on Twitter says any links. I'm still looking for a link myself. If you guys know where we can get XRP domains, please do put it down in the comment section, or you can tag me on Twitter. I'm at WorkingMoneyCH on Twitter. Be interested to know where we can eventually purchase these. But anyway, wanted to thank Lord XRP for posting this. Wanted to move on to some excellent news. One great update in particular has to do with the 5 trends shaping payments in 2023. This one brought to us by the Wrath of Kahneman. And so he's outlining akin this report that was released. The last 12 months have seen dramatic falls in fintech and payment valuations, but with the payment sector now a core part of the financial services ecosystem, strategic imperatives will continue to drive deals despite macroeconomic headwinds. So discussing this fact that the payments industry, or fintech in particular, has suffered a bit of a blow. Now, guys, this was released just last week, back on March 6th. However, what this report does highlight is that there are some companies that are still really thriving, one of them being Ripple. According to World Bank figures, remittances to low and middle income countries climbed by 5% in 2022, despite global macroeconomic headwinds, while IMARK Group research forecasts that the foreign exchange market will expand at a compound annual rate of about 7% between 2023 and 2028. These long-term underlying drivers are encouraging investment and M&A. Neobank, Decacorn, Revolut, for example, acquired Indian money exchange and FX platform Avorg Forex, and FX group TravelX partnered with digital payment network Ripple to reduce fees and speed up settlement for cross-border payments. A deep pipeline of similar deals is already building in 2023. So highlighting the TravelX Ripple partnership here, giving a couple of examples of where companies are still thriving. And it seems as though it's always Ripple in these examples, you know, when wanting to highlight something successful, a lot of these companies, a lot of these organizations do reach back and go to a Ripple example of where DLT and RippleNet specifically really do transform the partnership that they have made. So we're starting to see these trends formulate and strengthen. And, you know, DLT technology, RippleNet obviously being one of the main competitors in the space, they're really building infrastructure for payments, and I think are going to trailblaze the payment industry moving forward. And, you know, more companies are noticing this. So wanted to thank the Wrath of Kahneman just for bringing that up. The Cryptic Poet also tweeting this: Wirex teams up with Ripple partner Novati to bring next-gen multi-currency card to everyday users in Australia. So more partnership news, this time with Novati and Wirex. So Wirex has partnered with card issuer Novati to directly issue cards to Australians. The announcement has the potential to allow over 20 million people to utilize their innovative multi-currency card every single day. Wirex developed the world's first crypto-enabled debit card. Over 5 million customers worldwide can buy, hold, exchange, and sell over 22 traditional and 130 cryptocurrencies spendable at 80 million locations using Wirex's Visa debit card. That includes the TOD, or True AUD, TAUD, I guess, stablecoin, recently listed on the Wirex app as part of Wirex's large release of tokens in one go. The collaboration with Novati will now enable Wirex to issue cards directly to users in Australia. Customers will benefit from higher card spend limits, ability to earn up to 8% instant rewards, with no effects, no maintenance fees, international ATM withdrawals, and fiat-to-fiat exchanges, affordable top-ups, and access to merchant-exclusive deals. All users will be required to have full KYC checks and transactions and processes meeting stringent AML requirements. So obviously there are the checks and balances in there to make sure all transactions and people using these cards are kosher. But another big milestone for Wirex and Novati specifically, leveraging this technology to provide 20 million people with this ability and wide range of currencies and cryptocurrencies that they can transact with. So Wirex, for those of you guys who do not know, they did start in the UK, and then they launched in the APAC region in 2019, and that's become their fastest growing region with one of the highest levels of crypto adoption in the world. Australia has become an important market for Wirex as they look to utilize Novati to bridge the gap between the traditional and digital economies. They're expanding product offerings here as well. So again, you know, just another example of where a Ripple company is thriving. And other companies want to start partnering up with Ripple-enabled companies. I think we're starting to see this more and more. The most recent example, though, in Australia. Australia is already a very Ripple-enabled country. And now just another step with Ripple partner Novati. WireX is continuing this trend in Australia. So I wanted to thank the Cryptic Poet for posting that. Ripple was also mentioned, guys, as a major player in the 2023 blockchain space, and XRP Ledger was highlighted. Another one here from ISO 20022. So check this out, guys. Blockchain and digital assets projects worldwide in 2023. And down here, the blockchain technology market size is valued at more than $7 billion. That was the 2022 numbers, and is expected to increase to over $164 billion by 2029. Major players operating the blockchain technology market are mainly in the United States, and they name Coinbase, IBM, and Ripple specifically, while there is also growing adoption in other countries. So you guys can check that paper out here. I will link it in the description of the video for you. Just another highlight, though, that I wanted to mention. Right over here from ISO 20022, Ripple located in this report retail finance, corporate finance, customer-facing infrastructure, and XRP aims to be faster and more efficient, as well as at a lower cost and requiring less energy compared to other blockchains. So another highlight here from ISO 20022. Mentioning Ripple, I also should mention too that they do mention Stellar down here in this report. So I thought that was pretty cool. Wanted to thank again ISO 20022 for posting that. I also happen to see this, guys, another piece of news that has to do with Ripple partner Flutterwave. Lots of Ripple partner news today. Flutterwave secures new license in Rwanda. So Flutterwave, Africa's leading payment technology company, has today announced that it received its electronic money issuer remittance from the National Bank of Rwanda. I know we were following this story for a while, but they finally received this. The new license, in addition to being a payment service provider, Flutterwave can now offer money deposits and withdrawals, electronic fund transfers, as well as inbound and outbound remittance services to the 13.46 million people living and working in Rwanda specifically. According to Rwanda's National Institute of Statistics, micro, small, and medium enterprises in Rwanda account for about 97% of businesses and contribute almost 55% to the total GDP. That makes MSMEs critical to job creation and the economic growth of the country. So, if you do live in the Western world, you probably take this kind of thing for granted. A lot of these countries really do rely on small to medium-sized businesses to start to grow their economy the same way Western countries did hundreds of years ago. So again, back to that theme of banking the unbanked, helping the vulnerable be able to participate in commerce with technology that allows them to, send transactions quickly and cheaply. This is what's really going to build economies. And, countries like Rwanda is just another example of where that is happening today through Flutterwave, which is Ripple enabled. And I mean, this company, Flutterwave, they really have been hitting it out of the park in Africa specifically. I believe they were founded in Nigeria, if I'm not mistaken, and they've really just kind of taken Africa by storm. From our first transaction to over 400 million now, we've remained committed to our vision of connecting all parts of Africa through payments and connecting Africa to the world. As a country well known for fostering innovation and promoting the use of digital technology, Rwanda has always been important to our expansion plans in East Africa. We are delighted for the vote of confidence in being granted these licenses. With them, we will leverage our extensive global reach and continuous growth in emerging markets to provide MSMEs in Rwanda with the tools they need to stimulate the economy, facilitate seamless cross-border transactions for Rwandans, and support the expansive drive of global and Rwandan businesses. So there you have it, guys. More great news coming out of Africa. Wanted to move along. Another one from ISO 20022 here on Twitter. With regards to the ISO 20022 protocol, ISO 20022 plus wholesale CBDC cross-border payments that is maintained by Ripple's on-demand liquidity. Guys, that means XRP. Another document here. I guess I should point out wholesale CBDCs and how does it work. Now, this was published about a month ago. Nevertheless, it's just coming across my desk today. They talk here about some use cases for wholesale CBDCs, how they transact. They talk about tokenization, financial assets, reduced settlement time. Give some flowcharts here, just giving some examples of that. Cross-border payments with wholesale CBDCs. Again, some more graphics, just demonstrating the process of that. And here, mentioning Ripple's on-demand liquidity specifically. Who will maintain the liquidity pool? Financial institutions chosen by SWIFT or the Bank for International Settlements shall fund liquidity pools with the currencies required for an exchange. In return, these financial institutions can charge a transaction amount to the bank. For example, in the MCBDC experiment, the Bank of France was charged 10 basis points by the liquidity pool on the amount that there was to be transferred. The second way, though, to maintain a liquidity pool is by bringing the MCBDC bridge on Ripple's on-demand liquidity platform. So Ripple's on-demand or ODL platform, that is now being laid out here as an alternative solution to SWIFT to facilitate liquidity. And guys, we all know it's going to happen through XRP. So another great piece of news here from ISO 20022 on Twitter. And guys, I link all these tweets in the description of the video along with all these articles if you do want to peruse at your leisure. There's a lot of information coming out as of late. Beginning of 2023, I know the implementation of ISO 20022, that is going to be a hot topic this year in terms of payments and revamping the financial system. Of course, over the weekend, we've witnessed the vulnerabilities that can happen in the banking sector. This one from Genevieve Roch-Decter. A little update here with regards to SVB. Apparently, guys, Goldman Sachs was the buyer of the $21 billion portfolio Silicon Valley Bank sold at a loss, which started SVB's collapse. So we're learning a little more here. Goldman Sachs bought SVB securities in sale that sparked failed capital raise. They bought more than $21 billion worth of securities sold by Silicon Valley Bank last week, a transaction which triggered an ill-fated share sale, also managed by Wall Street Investment Bank. In the regulatory filing on Tuesday, SVB said Goldman bought $21.45 billion of its securities in a transaction that was announced last Wednesday, and SVB suffered a loss of $1.8 billion after tax loss on the sale of the securities, which had a book value of just under $24 billion and largely consisted of U.S. Treasuries and mortgage-backed securities. So, could it have been Goldman Sachs? Could they have been the one to have triggered this? Interesting down here, Mr. Scada does note, plus nicely timed buy rating with increased price target of SVB at this particular time. The target was just under $40, and they had upgraded the price target to 43.74. So you got to remember, the narrative was positive before this collapse occurred, and some have been speculating that the powers that be had something to do with this collapse. Obviously, you know, they wanted to shift the narrative, make it sound like it's these crypto banks that are bad news, that, you know, are collapsing. Of course, that narrative did get cleared up. Even in mainstream media, I was talking to my dad last night, and he was saying, yeah, but even though it was a crypto bank, it wasn't because of crypto that the bank collapsed. So I was actually pretty surprised when he said that, because, you know, I think it's hard to contain the false narratives, especially now in the day of social media. So much more news is coming out, guys. However, you know, to keep the speculation going, I still do believe that this was orchestrated, that this was a pre-planned crash to crash, you know, the U.S. banking sector to, you know, to push that narrative on us plebes, to let us know, look, crypto bad. Get your money out of these banks. And what's really going to happen is the crypto sector is going to move to the bigger banks. They're going to be in control. They're going to be the ones that are going to control the narrative. They're going to be the gatekeepers eventually for cryptocurrency. So, you know, again, they're trying to shake us all out, which brings me to this, guys, from none other than Robert Malone. I think some of you guys know who this is. Now, he doesn't usually talk about bank collapses. However, here he posted this alternative take on the SVB collapse and its relationship to none other than the WEF and the BIS agenda. Guys, I didn't think we'd find something like this so soon. Nevertheless, here it is. WEF insider admits Silicon Valley Bank crash is a great reset scam. So check this out, guys. A World Economic Forum insider has been caught boasting that the Silicon Valley Bank crash was an orchestrated plot that went to plan perfectly, and the crash will have a domino effect on the banking industry, leading to a global financial meltdown. Now, we have received updates. We know that, you know, the contagion has been contained. There has not been any contagion, I guess I should say. The banking sector, I mean, Joe Biden has come out and said our banking sector is robust. We haven't really seen any other banks follow this collapse. However, there's still time. It's been a crazy few days for the banking industry, specifically for Silicon Valley Bank and its shareholders, as it went from supposed stable and solvent to closed down by the regulators in just a span of 24 hours. And as it appears, the domino effect has already begun, with Signature Bank in New York closed by regulators citing systemic risks. We even had Barney Frank come out, and he was on the board at Signature Bank. He said, you know, basically the fundamentals are good for Signature Bank, but we're closing for political reasons. If you guys didn't catch the video I did on that, I will link that up here in the top right-hand corner. So what else do we have, though? So check this out. Anyone who thinks the SVB bank collapse was a coincidence has not been paying attention to the details. The hidden hands are at work and have left their fingerprints all over this one. Whoa, wait a minute here. Hidden hands at work? Who's been around this long? The Bearable Guy riddle from back in April of 2018. The hidden hands, the invisible hands, one of the infamous riddles from Bearable Guy. Plans within plans, guys, and the powers that be working very, very hard to keep this a secret. Let's keep going though. And when it comes to this amount of money, there are no coincidences. So get this, meet Joseph Gentile, an executive at SVB. Do you know where Joseph Gentile worked before he was at Silicon Valley Bank? He was the chief financial officer at Lehman Brothers, which was the largest bank to crash in U.S. history. So Stratton Oak down here posting this. Like I said, Lehman 2.0. When you've levered over 10x plus and you sell assets at a loss, it's a catastrophe. Joseph Gentile was the chief administrative officer at SVB, and prior to joining in 2007, he served as the CFO for Lehman Brothers Global Investment Bank. Guys, you cannot make this stuff up. Check this out, a huge coincidence, but it gets even worse. Where do you think he worked before Lehman Brothers? Do you remember a company named Enron? Yeah, guys, Enron. They were an energy company based out of Houston and a Wall Street darling in the 90s. Do you remember Enron getting shut down in late 2001? Enron was the biggest bankruptcy in U.S. history and the biggest audit failure. The founder and CEO were sentenced to 24 years in prison. It just so happens Joseph Gentile was at the helm of all three companies before it all went to the wall, and unlike his colleagues, he has never faced justice. The mainstream media want you to believe that this is just a coincidence, but as I even keep saying on this channel, there are no coincidences. This from Stock Talk Weekly, guys, just in case you thought you were bad at your job. Silicon Valley's chief administrative officer, Joseph Gentile, was the former CFO of Lehman Brothers. So, you know, all this news is coming out now. And what we are seeing is a push towards global government that is being camouflaged and cloaked by humanitarianism, multiculturalism, as well as manufactured threats. All this stuff part of a WEF agenda. In order for this to occur, the elite are planning to create a global financial crisis of the likes of which the world has never seen before. So again, guys, part of the Great Reset, and as they say here, out of the ashes of this financial crisis will rise the phoenix of a new international economic order. The public will be told that the new order is on its way to stabilize the world economy and save what little remains of their wealth. And of course, guys, we are all smarter than that. We have pre-planned, we have invested in the cryptocurrencies that we know are going to solve problems. One of them obviously being XRP. Hopefully you guys have been diversifying as well into other assets like precious metals. And down here, people often ask why the globalist elite would collapse the world economy. Wouldn't that mean they would destroy their own wealth in the process? The answer is no. The elite have been consolidating their wealth in order to protect it for centuries. The process of consolidation has accelerated dramatically in recent years, with the global financial crisis in 2008 and the beer flu pandemic allowing the elite to get richer, while the rest of us were made poorer. So guys, maybe a euphemism for plans within plans. But here it sounds like we have another connection to a nefarious pre-planned banking collapse. The same CFO was at SVB Bank. He happened to be at Lehman Brothers. And oh yeah, by the way, at Enron back in the 90s. So do you believe in coincidences? I'll leave it up to you. Tell me down in the comments what you guys think, and please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like the video if you like the content I'm providing. I always love hearing your comments. See you in the next one, guys.